Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, nice and early. We're so happy to have you here on this Monday morning. Nice duty day here in Palm Beach. And thank you to anyone else who's joining us from around the world. We have an awesome lineup of people today to share with you for some awesome PD. And so we just want to thank you for being here and just go over a couple of things, especially for those of you who may not have ever joined us before on a live stream. My name is John Shoemaker. I'm from the Department of Educational Technology. We are part of the group that is putting this this whole event on today. So before we get started, just so you know, there is a chat box over there. We're going to go over some housekeeping, which includes the chat box. So if you've never used YouTube Live before or YouTube chat box, you may have to create a channel. That's okay. Just create it with your district account. You click in there, you say create a channel, log in with your district account, excuse me, and you will be able to then speak and chat in the chat box there. So please use that to communicate. That's also how we're going to be able to give prizes away later on today. So you're definitely going to want to be able to chat in the chat box today. While you're in the chat box and while you're on the channel, we would love for you to go down below and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. I forgot to check. We're at 4.43 subscribers. We would love to hit 5,000 today, but that's a stretch goal for us today. So please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. You may have seen some people already who have a little wrench next to their name. Those are our moderators, and our moderators are people who are able to moderate the chat, answer questions, because the live stream could be up to 30 seconds in the future, so there is a bit of a delay. So it is a little hard to moderate the chat and also do a presentation. And one of the bigger things today, we're asking you to tweet with us and at us using the hashtag #PBTechTalk. And feel free to tag our EdTech account. But as long as you have that hashtag, that's the most important thing for right now, is to use the hashtag to tweet at us. So hashtag #PBTechTalk. It'll be in the top corner of all of our slides, not our presenter slides, but the slides you see here are the ones that will have that hashtag there. So please be sure to tweet at us and with us today. And what does today look like? So we have a great schedule for you today, focusing on the 4 C's. And so if you've never heard of the 4 C's before, you can obviously see them across the bottom of your screen at this point. But what we've done is we've taken the 4 C's and we've broken them down into a session each. So we're each going to focus on one of the 4 C's throughout the day. So it's a half day of PD for you guys starting right now, and we're going to about 12:30. Again, with some of the best people around the country in ed tech, sharing their thoughts and strategies. And the opening session with Dr. Monica Burns will also be somewhat of an overview of the 4 C's too. For those of you who have never seen it before, you'll know a little bit more about what the 4 C's are. So you kind of get that jump on the sessions today. And I also saw some of our presenters are in the chat already. So I did see Anne there. So her session is going to be great next as well. And so with that, our first session, our opening session, is being sponsored by Adobe Spark and Adobe for EDU. So they have graciously given us 5 of these awesome swag bag boxes and 5 copies of Monica's book. And so what we're going to do is we are going to ask you to tweet today, and that's going to be one of our ways of winning a prize today. So what we want you to do is, as long as you tag hashtag #PBTechTalk in tweets today, that's going to make you eligible for us to pick your name. So what we're going to need you to do, though, is Tanya and I and the team will look through the tweets after we're done today, and we're going to pick out the best ones, the constructive ones, the exciting ones, the engaging ones, and pick those 5 people. But you're going to have to also be on the lookout for a mention from us, because that's how we're going to have to be able to contact you if your name isn't your real name, especially, and we can't find you in the district directory. So be on the lookout, in the next few days for a message from us to see if you are a winner on Twitter, if you're participating there. We just love to see everything that you're sharing on Twitter. We would also love to see how you are actually integrating what you're learning today. That's part of the goal today, is to get something and from each session that you can take tomorrow and use in your classroom. So please feel free to tweet about what you're learning and what you actually want to use with your students. That's what we love to see. And always feel free to tag at EdTechPBC throughout the school year. We love seeing what you're doing with technology integration. That's our EdTech account run by several of us on the team. So please, please, please use that as a way to share your work, and we will then help you amplify your voices. And so with that, that's all the housekeeping I have. So what I'm going to do right now, before we get to Dr. Monica Burns, is I'm going to introduce a good friend of mine, Tanya Avrith, and her colleague, Clara Gallen. And they are going to introduce some stuff about Adobe Spark, since Spark is hosting and sponsoring our opening session. And they will then share also introducing Monica Burns. Tanya, just make sure you're also muted, so don't forget to unmute yourself. That's okay. So ladies, go ahead and take it away.
Well, good morning, Palm Beach County.
Nice to see everyone. I love the chat is buzzing. There's so many people here this morning. And I see my friend also, Ann Cosma, in there.
Hi. Well, welcome everybody. First of all, it's a kind of gloomy, rainy morning here in Palm Beach County. I happen to live in the same area as all of you, so I'm super thrilled to be here. My name is Tanya Avrith, and I work on the community and evangelism team at Adobe. And I'm a Palm Beach, I mean, not native, but I am definitely an honorary, what's the word? I live here. So I'm super excited to be here. And I'm joined here with my partner in crime.
Hello, everyone. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names in the chat, so thrilled to be here with you this morning. My name is Clara Gallen, and I work on the Adobe education team. Not based in Palm Beach. I'm actually joining you from across the ocean in Barcelona, Spain, but really excited to be here with you during my afternoon and sharing more about the Adobe Creative Educator program.
Well, we're super thrilled to have a few minutes to kick off today. We are going to be introducing our amazing first keynote speaker in just a moment, but we wanted to share a little bit about you, some of the things that we have going on with Palm Beach County, as my dog, of course, is barking in the background. But before we begin, I also want to make sure that as you're watching today, we're going to be sharing a remixable template that you can also share with your followers, or just in general here, if you want to just try out Spark. So I want to make sure that you definitely check that out. Shui, can you just share the there it is, and check that out. And Monica will be sharing a little bit more with it in just a moment, but definitely try it out, and we'd love to see what you create. So Clara, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking forward to everyone's filled out Spark template. And what's so awesome about Spark is this is something that you can use with your students. As you see, if you check out that template and share them out with the hashtag that we shared earlier, we'd love to kind of take that away and share it with the Adobe for Education team. Again, the hashtag is PB Tech Talk. I just shared out a tweet from my account. So be sure to check out that Spark template. But before we get started, a really exciting announcement from Adobe, and I'll go ahead and share my screen here, is the Adobe Creative Educator program. And we just launched this program last summer and already have over 12,000 educators that are participating internationally in the program. And what this is a professional development badging community that is for educators in every subject area and grade level. And here at Adobe, Tanya and I and the team kind of took a step back when we wanted to think about professional development and the badges we wanted to offer to our community, and take a step back from the tools themselves and really focus on teaching and learning outcomes. And so what you'll find within this program is it really focuses on creativity across the subject areas, defining what creativity looks like, in every subject area and grade level. And then ultimately how to evaluate creativity, which is, I know, something as a middle school educator, I struggled with a little bit to figure out, how do we evaluate that? So it goes through all those pieces, has some amazing resources that you can access in addition to a self-paced course. So take a look at that. For each badge that we offer, completely free program, you earn 3 hours of professional development credit for level 1. And then for level 2, we take it a step further and focus on instructional design. So how do you actually plan for creativity? So that within that level of the program, there's 6 hours of professional development included, a badge, and then of course, access to our global community and some other fun things like swag and being featured on our blog. So again, encourage you to take a look at this site. And Tanya, we have a special offer for Palm Beach educators with this program. Can you share a little bit more?
Well, first of all, Palm Beach has been so active in our community. So I just want to point out that Palm Beach County has the most Adobe creative educators would we say in the world? I think at this point in the world district per school site. So we're really so amazed by the community here at Palm Beach County. I'm super honored because I live here. And so this is my community. So I am so excited that we have so many people that are part of this community that are so excited about creativity, and encouraging their students to be creative says a lot about you guys. So yes, you have the most Adobe creative educators in anywhere in the world, and we're growing. We have so many more teachers that are joining from Palm Beach County every day. And we're also hosting a special event on February 24th at 4:00. And we have a special link that you can sign up for this special event if you wanted to do it live. Now, you could always do the self-paced course, and it's really phenomenal as well. But if you want to come in and have some live professional development with myself, or it might be with Rebecca Hare, who's who's the architect of the course, please join us. There's only myself and Rebecca here in North America that do the courses live. So we don't offer them all the time. And you can take it, and it's during a week we're going to be launching soon. You'll be hearing more about it, but we have a special week that is dedicated to Palm Beach County here at Adobe. So you'll be hearing about it. We'll be tweeting about it. We're going on tour, and Palm Beach is our very first stop. So please check it out. If you're interested, you can sign up here. Otherwise, definitely check out the self-paced course. But we're really excited to have so many Palm Beach County educators as part of this really growing and amazing community. So thank you. So and here we go. And if you wanted to take the self-paced course, you can take it right here. This is the link to access it, so you could do it on your own. And it really is a meaningful opportunity for learning. All right, well, we are super excited because we have a really amazing guest coming right now, and she's going to be opening up our session this morning. And she's a dear friend of ours, but she's also the author of, Clara?
The Spark book. So book co-authored with Ben Forta. I think we might have an image of that. I can share that here, but how to infuse Spark into your classroom. Really excited to share that alongside the Adobe Creative Educator box.
Yeah, and Dr. Monica Burns is also the founder of Class Tech Tips, which is one of my favorite blogs. You can literally find amazing opportunities for learning, tips and tricks about ways that you can infuse technology in your classroom. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So definitely check out her blog as well. But we're so thrilled to have her here. She's joining us from snowy New Jersey this morning. Right, Monica?
Oh my goodness, yes, so snowy.
And Monica, you're also the author of a few books, right?
Yes, behind you, I see them.
The yellow one is my Spark book right behind me today. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and opening today. We're so thrilled that you were willing to come, and we're super excited to hear what you have to say.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for that introduction. I am very excited to be here with you all today. As you heard, it is a snowy, blizzardy day outside of my window here in New Jersey. I just put a tweet out with a picture with the event hashtag for today. So if you're following along and you want to see some snow, it's up there on Twitter right now. But today, what we are going to do together is talk a little bit about this idea of our 4 C's. So we're going to look a little bit at them together this morning, and then we'll dive in a little bit deeper into creativity along with the other 4 C's and other presenters during the course of our day today. So I am very excited to spend some time with you today. As you heard, my name is Monica Burns. I'm an ed tech and curriculum consultant and former New York City public school teacher. So still here on the East Coast too, and spending some time with you today. I'm just really excited to share some stories and some activity ideas as we come together for this event today. Now, as a classroom teacher, I started off in a classroom with an overhead projector and transparencies and chalk and a chalkboard and all of those great things, transitioning into a one-to-one environment. So going one-to-one with devices. But as we talk about the 4 C's today and using technology really strategically over the course of our time with students, I always think about this visual. I taught at a school where we became a magnet school for environmental stewardship, which meant we were doing all sorts of things, including hands-on activities like composting. And that's a picture of my first compost bin in the corner of my classroom. And then in another corner of the classroom, iPads, where students were using devices in lots of different ways. So one corner, the iPad cart, the other corner, the compost bin. And for me, it was always a great visual, a great reminder of how there are certain things that we can do when we are hands-on, right, that we can do in different ways. But then when we bring technology into the equation, it's not going to replace all of those wonderful things, all those wonderful activities. There was no way we were going to drop a banana peel or an apple core into our iPad cart and expect anything particularly magical to happen. But having that balance between the different experiences was so important. And whenever I talk about the worms, I always like to give a little shout out. This is my actual, a screenshot of my actual Amazon receipt from 2012, ordering worms to come to my New York City classroom, since we didn't have a bait and tackle shop anywhere nearby. But as we were still going out and exploring places, we now had those opportunities for kids to share their learning using technology and in lots of different ways. So today we'll talk a bit about those 4 C's. We'll dive into some different project examples, and I'll share some different strategies with you, including some favorite ways to inject creativity into every classroom. So I often use this phrase, tasks before apps, to kick off conversations like we're having this morning. This idea of putting learning front and center, having that be the forefront of our decisions, and then bringing in the technology where it's the best fit, where we really know that we can use it to help students level the playing field, getting everyone to share their learning experiences. And so this usually brings me to a few different questions that guide the decisions that I'm making as I'm thinking about what kind of technology to recommend when I'm side by side with the teacher. We're talking about different things that we might want to do, or where I'm planning a lesson if I'm pushing into a classroom or working with a school. And so our first question of our what is our what do we want students to learn? So what is it that we really are focused on? What do we want them to learn? So coming back to that learning goal and making sure that that is truly front and center. Then our how. How is this tool, this website, this app, whatever it might be, going to make it different for students? Now, this might include giving kids the opportunity to use their voice to record their thinking. It might give them an opportunity to search for images and bring those into different places and use different types of visual representations to communicate their thinking about a topic. But we're really being strategic. So as much as there's plenty of fun and flashy different things out there to pick and choose from, we're coming back to that. How is this tool going to make that experience different? And then, of course, something that you'll hear me mention a bunch today, and I'm sure you'll hear it throughout our day together, is who will see and celebrate with students. So how can we give them an audience for anything that they might create? And so we'll come back to these three, and I hope that your wheels will be spinning a little bit as you're thinking about future project ideas, things that are on the horizon. It's the very first day of February, right? What might be going on for you over the course of the next month and in the next several months as you're designing activities for students that really incorporate these 4 C's. So today, when we're talking about these pieces and using technology in different ways, we really are looking at every classroom. Whether you are in a blended learning environment where kids are all together all the time, physically in that same space with access to different digital tools, whether students are learning at a distance or there's concurrent or hybrid instruction going on, we're looking at all of these learning environments to think about how we can use technology strategically to get kids talking and sharing about their learning, thinking critically, and hopefully working together along the way. Now, depending on the learning environment you might be envisioning or in the midst of right now, I know I've been wearing a few different hats thinking through technology integration like you all have this past year, right? If we were together last February 1st, our conversation would be very different. But today we're thinking about students wherever they might be. So looking to support them in an asynchronous or self-paced environment where they can jump in and get to work, where they might communicate and catch up at different times, but still participate in a discussion. We know there's opportunities for synchronous instruction, like how we're all together today. I've got the busy comments up on the side of my screen, right? And that's a space for you to share ideas or ask questions. So lots of benefits to that too when we think about just the communication aspect of the 4 C's. It's also an opportunity for students to engage in independent and collaborative tasks. So whether they are sitting side by side, sharing a screen together, or whether they are logging in from different places and working at different times, but towards the same goal, we know that we can bring these into all different environments together. And of course, and I hope you'll feel this way when we look at some of the creative activities together, both in this session and later this morning, we have this opportunity for kids to dive into high interest, relevant content, maybe even some creations that they make that model the way that they consume their favorite videos or podcast episodes or anything that might come across their feeds or their inbox or their messages on our family or shared device as well. So I'm hoping we can try out a quick activity together with one of my very favorite ways for us to participate when we are learning and coming together at a distance. And so I'm hoping we can create kind of a big, living, breathing word cloud together, sharing some of the things your students have made or created this school year. So this doesn't have to be super specific. It might be, oh, they've made a website or they've made a movie or they've recorded a podcast or whatever it might be, but kind of keeping it simple and short and sweet. So think for a moment, what have your students made or created this year? And I'm going to give us a Mentimeter spot. Mentimeter is one of my favorite tools, and it'll give you 2 things that you can enter. So maybe you put a poster and a graphic or something like that. So 2 kind of quick responses that go along with this question of what have your students made and created this year. So head over to menti.com to participate. When you get to menti.com, you can type in this code. And in our YouTube area there, I'm actually going to place in a Menti link for you as well. This will take you to the same place. So this is the same sort of place it'll take you to. So you can either type in the code, or you can click on this menti.com link I just plugged into the YouTube chat area. So whatever feels good, go ahead and head over to this spot and try and put a quick, one word kind of answer that will help us build our word cloud together. And I'm going to pull up the longer link here for us so that we can watch our word cloud build together. Oh, I'm starting to see some things pop up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my web browser with you so that you can take a look at this living, breathing word cloud. I love a good word cloud. And what I'm going to do for us as well is I'm going to take this Menti link. This is, we'll take a look at Menti behind the scenes here for a second. I'm going to share this live results link. I'm going to copy that for you, and I'm going to place it into the YouTube stream of comments here as well. That way, in case you want to take a look at it as it's living and breathing on the screen, you can do that too. I like to think of this as the messy Mentimeter link because it's the longer one. So look at all the things your kids have made and created, from presentations, using tools like Jamboard to have them do animal projects. So many wonderful things that kids are making and creating this year. So feel free to click on that messy Mentimeter link. I call that the longer one that I just plugged in to the YouTube comment area if you want to keep watching this living, breathing word cloud keep growing. I'll come back to it and show it to you in a moment as well. But yeah.
One quick second. Can you pop that in the private chat? It's actually not going through in the comments there. So.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, there you go. So I will post it in the chat for everyone else.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah, so you can check out that link when John plugs that in, so you'll be able to look at this living, breathing word cloud at the same time as well. So as this is growing, and we'll come back and take a peek at it, I'm going to bring us back over to the slide deck here, and we'll take a look together at 5 of my favorite strategies for injecting creativity into your classroom. Now, creativity is just one of the 4 C's, and you'll see some ways that communication and collaboration and critical thinking all play a part as we look at some of these activities that you might bring to students that also give you a quick win of injecting creativity into your classroom as well. So first up, you can transform passive experiences, things where kids might be sitting back a bit and reading, viewing, and listening. We can transform these passive experiences in a quick way to inject creativity into your classroom. Now, I don't want there to feel like there's anything wrong with sitting back with a good book or a great movie or listening to a podcast. There's so much value in that too. But if we want to inject some creativity into your classroom, we can pull in this additional piece to make it a more active experience. This could include some quick responses. Maybe when kids are reading about sharks or an article that you've pulled for them, they're creating a quick infographic where they take some of the facts that they've learned and they make that quick infographic with all of the information or 3 big things that they took away from that event. You might ask them after they watch a quick YouTube clip on a spot like the Grand Canyon to make a commitment or a goal of what they'll do next based on that activity of them watching that quick video as a consumer. You might have them dive into some vocabulary together during a math lesson, and then take a moment to step back after watching a tutorial or reading a quick entry into a book where they're learning about different types of figures and create a graphic like this one. These are all ones created with Spark Post. So if you haven't tried out Spark Post before, definitely something I would recommend. Super flexible and great for these types of quick responses. You might use it for a do now. You might take it in the middle of a lesson and bring it in, or it might be something that's more of an exit ticket at the end. Now, for more passive experiences where kids might read or view or listen to something you've shared with them, this is also a great way to incorporate a quick response into an asynchronous or self-paced exploration with your group. Now, the next one on the list is to build community with creativity. So this is one of my favorite ways not only to inject creativity into your classroom, but getting kids talking and sharing. So thinking about our communication C as well, and having them share a little bit about themselves while they are having a taste or learning a little bit about a new tool you might use in a different way down the line. So building community might include having students do a favorite things type of video, where they go in, they think of 4 or 5 of their favorite things, they make a slide for each of them, and it gives them an opportunity to share something that they're passionate about, but also navigate a new space. Now, I've used a My Favorite Things activity when introducing Spark Video to second grade students, because everyone loves to share their favorite things, their favorite food, their favorite genre, whatever it might be. And I've also used it with middle school students as a way to introduce Spark Page. So we've done it before when they are getting into Spark Page, the website builder, for the very first time. So it's a great way to get kids thinking about how to navigate a space while also injecting some creativity into your classroom as well. Now, you might go back to a graphic tool like this one, having kids share something that they love or that they're thankful for. I put this underneath that favorite things umbrella. Or you might even have them do an all about me. This might be something that you use to introduce yourself and then have kids introduce each other. Especially if kids are not sitting side by side in a classroom, this is a great way for them to share a little bit about themselves, talk a little bit about what's important to them or what they value, and you might even bring this into more of a favorite things type of topic or umbrella, if that feels like a little bit of an easier way to frame it. Now, because we're talking about different activities that are nice, easy wins for injecting creativity into your classrooms, I'm wondering, and you might want to try out yourself, an all about me with this remixable template that is special for Palm Beach County School District. Now, this is one, and you'll find the link in the chat area if you want to click on it, using Spark Post that I love because it's a remixable template. So if I actually go out here, and I'm going to share my Google Chrome browser with you so you can take a peek. Here's that word cloud again, so that you can kind of see where we left off here. So lots of great things in here. If you're in Spark's website, of course, you could totally start from scratch, right? Make your own graphic. But if you click on that bit.ly, it actually turns it into this longer link, and you can click on remix this design. And this is a great way to have or share a template with someone. So when you open it up, you can click here and replace the text boxes with your response. So if you want to open it up and try it out now or try it out over the course of the day, this is a great way to think through an all about me style activity, and a great way for us to talk about building community with some creativity in it too. So you can click on that bit.ly link for the remix. You can type here and replace your school name, and then you can write in your phrase. So when you click it here, you might say that you want to give students more ways to share their learning, or that you want to incorporate more collaboration into an activity that you always love to do. So whatever it is that you'd like, you can go ahead and create within this space over the course of today. And when you finish, you can either share it with a link or even download it as an image and maybe tweet it out or post it in a special spot. And this is a nice way to practice the same type of building community with creativity that we are talking about as our second way on the list to inject some creativity into your classroom. So feel free, if you want to click on that remix link. I know I would love to see all the things that you are inspired to do over the course of today. If you do tweet it out, make sure to add the event hashtag for today. And then of course there's the Creativity for All and Adobe EDU creative options for some extra hashtags to add in there too. So before we jump into number 3 on the list, just to show you this link again, right? We've looked at having students having us transform passive experiences for students, building community with creativity. And number 3 is to examine your favorite projects. And this is something that we're going to do together in session 2 with me today. So you might have a favorite project in mind that you've always loved to do with students in the past. Now, when we come into a digital space, like we're talking about today, I'm always gravitating towards open-ended tools, open-ended creation tools. And this is where I kind of found the Spark tools and fell in love with them. And one of the reasons why I'm sharing so many of those examples with you today. Now, open-ended tools are ones that really give us a blank canvas. So if you've always done a special biography project in the past, you could use an open-ended tool for that. And if you've always done a special science like lab write-up or report, you could probably use that same open-ended tool because you have this blank canvas to work in. So it's a space that is totally customizable, K-12 friendly. I know those are the ones I'm always looking for, and you heard me share an elementary and middle example with the same favorite things activity already today. And it's not something that's content or project specific, so you could use it in lots of different ways. I'm also on the hunt often for tools that are device agnostic, right? You can jump around between different types of tools, whether you're using something like Spark Post on an iOS device, or jumping into something on a Chromebook or on a web browser on a laptop, right? So I love things you can use in lots of different ways. I sometimes think of it as getting the most bang for your buck, right? Or the most quality over the quantity of having to learn a whole bunch of different tools. Now, maybe you've always done something with students where you're learning about national parks or different types of geography. So you might use a tool like Spark Video to look at that. This is one of my favorite examples with some ninth grade students where they were creating math tutorials with something like Spark Video. So having seen a whole bunch of Khan Academy videos and then going on to make their own. Or you might even have students, like in this example, take something like The Hunger Games, right? A favorite book, and instead of a traditional book report, creating a video like this one. Now, I'm talking over Brianna's narration for the math tutorial. I'm talking over Leo's narration here for Spark Video, but definitely favorites as we look here too. Now, you might decide that instead of an audio type of creation, as you're looking at projects from the past, you want to take students into a space where they use a lot of text and write paragraphs and pull in images to go along with their vocabulary exploration. So you might have them in a space like Spark Page, where they are creating a website like this one on the Colorado River. As I scroll through this example, taking a really traditional research project and making something like this with a published project, or even taking a poetry anthology like this favorite example. These are Abby's portfolio. Her teacher shared with me where she wrote all of these poems inspired by the color aquamarine. So just so many ways and so many different directions that you can go in. Now, you heard Tanya and Clara mention that special ACE training. So if it's something that you're interested in, I know I'm an Adobe creative educator, and it's just been so wonderful to be connected to that program. You might want to take a look at that as well. Now, to finish up our list of 5 ways for injecting creativity into any classroom, we've got 2 more to add. The fourth one is to make a flexible plan. So giving an opportunity to plan in a way that gives visuals to kids so that they can kind of see where you're headed. You might even create some tip sheets. These are some that I've created that talks about how to set up a portfolio. So these are great if kids are working at a distance and you want to give them some extra support. Or you might even make some checklists. I love a good graphic organizer. So I know that these are ones I often bring in, whether I'm working with high school students. I've used graphic organizers like this all the way down to elementary school students. So lots of options. And you might even take a rubric from a project in the past and revise it a bit as part of your plan to support students working in a new space. And now the last one on our list before I turn it back over to the team is to celebrate all parts of the process. This is a great way to think through how you're getting kids talking and sharing, thinking critically as they are moving through different steps of creating something, whether it's something big or whether it's something small. Now, I had Rebecca Hare on my podcast this past summer, and she talked a lot about iterations and kids drafting and really celebrating that part of the process. So it might include having kids brainstorm together, sharing while they're drafting, or even making multiple iterations and talking through what they are going through throughout that process. But of course, incorporating an audience might be a big part of what you're thinking when it comes to celebration. It might include posting different projects in a space like Padlet, or I know you're going to hear more about Flipgrid today, which is an absolute favorite, giving kids an opportunity to post what they've made or put up a question if they need some feedback. So all things to consider when we look at these different ways to inject creativity into every classroom, alongside our goals for communication, collaboration, and of course, the critical thinking piece as well. So hopefully you'll create an all about me. I know I'll be checking out the hashtags for today's event to see what kind of things you might have posted or created. But on any day like today, where we're looking at lots of different ideas and resources, my favorite ways to take action is to think things through with this week, what we might do, this month, what we might try out, and how we might finish out the school year. So thank you so much for spending some time with me to kick off today. I'll be back with you in session 2, where we'll dive into some of these ideas together. And I'll be following along on social with the event hashtag as you are creating some different things and trying out different ideas this morning.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. That was so informative and so much in such a short period of time, as it always seems to be. But there has been some awesome engagement in the chat as well. So we definitely appreciate your time with us. And we can't wait to see the next session on creativity in a few hours. So we will see you then. So thank you for that. We just have a few moments left before it's time to switch to the next session. But what I'm going to ask you to do is that you have to have actually contributed to the chat in the last 5 minutes in order to win something for a prize for this session. Now, I don't need you to flood the chat. As long as you have said at least one word in the chat in the past 5 minutes, then you are actually eligible, actually 10 minutes, you are actually eligible to win. So if you haven't said anything in the chat, this is your 10-second warning to say something in the chat box to be eligible. So what we're using, and I believe you saw already a Nightbot pop through. Basically, Nightbot is something that is that allows us to do some automated things. And what it does is it goes through and it sees who has said something in the chat in the past 10 minutes, except for the moderators. We don't allow the moderators to be eligible for this. And in just a moment, Dana is going to be going over and posting the winner. So again, you have just a few seconds left to say something in the chat. I'm just watching the chat over there right now. We actually have 2 Adobe packs to give away, swag packs. This is also what we'll be giving away on Twitter today at the hashtag PBTechTalk. That will also include a copy of Monica's awesome book. So you're not going to want to miss that. And so with that, Dana, if you don't mind drawing our first winner, I'm actually going to look off to the other screen because that's where I have my YouTube video. I just want to make sure that we all are able to catch the winner. And you have to be in the US. It looks like Lillian Novoa, N-O-V-O-A. So Lillian, congratulations. You must be in the US in order to win. That's the only place we can ship to. And winner number 2, here they come. Michael Bryan. Awesome. Congratulations, Lillian and Michael. And if you will please email Dana Rubenstein. Dana, if you don't mind posting that again in the chat, your email address, she will send you a form that we need you guys to fill out. And so with that, we thank you so much for joining us. Our next session is going to be beginning in 5 minutes. You do have to go back to the link, but I did just have Nightbot post the link to Anne's session. So you can click on that and it'll open in a new tab. But otherwise, I just want to thank everyone from the entire training team, the EdTech team as a whole. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you, and we'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye.